What's going on, everybody, and welcome to my review of A Quiet Place Part 2. This is once again written and directed by John Krasinski, and it continues the story of, well, A Quiet Place Part 1, obviously, which came out a couple of years ago, in which we have like a post-apocalyptic world that's been overtaken by alien creatures who are killing everybody for, well, you know, because they feel like it, and these creatures are blind. They are totally blind, but they have exceptional hearing, so, of course, the whole suspense and horror was based around if you make a sound, you're pretty much screwed. So we have a lot of the same characters coming back from the first one. Emily Blunt is back as the mother slash wife. The kids are back. We got a whole bunch of new people, including Cillian Murphy. Jimon Hounsou is in this film, and the premise of this one is it's pretty simple, really. You've got, like, the family move on from their homestead in the first film, or the farm, whatever it was. They meet up with Cillian Murphy's character, who, as we're told in a flashback at the start of the film, which is sort of sets up why this is all happening. And basically, a couple of characters have to go off and do one thing, some other characters stay behind, and they've got to do something else, and that's really all I'm going to say about this film, because going into it, I didn't know too much about it, personally. Mainly because I didn't really have a huge interest in seeing it. The first film I really liked. I really liked watching the first film when I saw it a couple of years ago. And I even bought the Blu-ray when it first came out, which, as you may see, still has the price tag and the shrink wrap on it. Because I never revisited this film. It was one of those things that I remember it really, really well. Like I said, it was a good film. I just never felt compelled to revisit it. Whereas now, I cannot wait to watch this again because I loved the second film. This is easily, in my opinion, so far superior to the first one. This is a rock-solid movie. The tension in this film was heart-pounding. Like, my nails have been, like, picked off so much because this film is just white-knuckle tension. The performances are out of this world. Noah Jupe and Millicent Simmons as the kids. Of course, Millicent Simmons, her character Regan, is deaf. They stole the show, particularly Millicent. She was incredible. Not just the actress, but her character. She did so much, and it was so awesome seeing not just a strong female character, but like a child character who was so much smarter and braver than a lot of other people in the film. I really, really love that. The directing in this movie was incredible. The performances from every character, or every actor, I should say, because the characters don't really perform, they were amazing. Cillian Murphy was brilliant. Emily Blunt, I loved her performance. I loved that, you know, she's just so sick of this shit going on, and she's seen it all now and everything, and she's just brave, you know? Like, every time something happens or whatever, and, you know, she turns around to look at a monster or something, she doesn't have panic in her face anymore, you know? It's just this stoic kind of, I'm either going to die doing this or you're going to die. Like, I love that about her. And I dug, yeah, like, you know, with any good sequel, it's got to go bigger and better than the first movie, and this one really did. The way that the characters are split up, and you got sort of two different stories going on, was masterfully done. Both stories were compelling, and the editing in this film as well was absolutely fantastic, because not only did you get a good balance of each story, but the way that some of the shots were sort of juxtapositioned going from one scene to the other, where there's like something familiar in the next shot tying it into the other one. Like, it was really well done and really enjoyable to watch. The score in the film was really great. It was yeah, it just added to the tension brilliantly. The special effects were that good that I forgot this movie had special effects. I'm not kidding. Halfway through the end credits, when it started getting into visual effects people, I was like, oh shit, that's right. Like, that's something I should probably talk about, is just how believable the effects were. All the creatures and everything were just, yeah, amazing. There's not a lot that I didn't like about this film. I really did sort of, as I was watching it, I was like, there's got to be something about this film that I don't like, being that it's a genre film, you know, so genre films can't be perfect. But realistically, there was only two things that look, one of them is such a nitpick. I don't even know why I'm saying it, but like, there's just little things. A few of the characters, particularly Emily Blunt, like, you know, like their hair didn't look post-apocalyptic. It was sort of, it was a little bit clean and stuff, but you know, who cares? But there's a scene towards the end. It's not a spoiler. There's something that happens in a radio station, and Regan kind of seemed to know a little bit too much about how to work a radio station. Like, yeah, it was sort of like, yeah, okay, like, whatever. But like I said, those are nitpicks. The only other thing, the ending I thought was really interesting. Now, again, I'm not going to spoil anything, but brace yourself, because this movie ends abruptly. Like, it ends at a point where you don't think it's going to end, and it wasn't really an ending. Now, I'm going to totally take that back if, well, there's going to be an inevitable part 3, I'm sure of it. And if that next film does continue the story, then great. But as it stands, yeah, I thought it's going to really polarize audiences. Like, I love an ambiguous ending. I love an ending in a film where you can walk away from it and put your own interpretation on things, you know, use your imagination as to what happens next. But this stopped kind of before there should be an ambiguous ending, or any ending. Like, yeah, it was very abrupt. But like I said, I will take that back down the track if they do release a part 3, which, oh man, I am really on board if part 3, when it comes out, because, yeah, going into this movie, I was kind of like, I'm mildly curious, but I'll take it or leave it, whereas now, man, I cannot wait for a third one. I am definitely going to be adding part 2 to my library the day it comes out. I'm going to rewatch part 1, because I really think I'm going to enjoy part 1 a lot more now. Knowing what happens after, like, yeah, I think it's going to make that one more enjoyable for me. Because, yeah, oh man, this movie was the opening scene of part 2, like the flashback to day 1 was freaking amazing. If you're a fan like me of the setup in disaster films, or, you know, anything like alien invasions or natural disasters or whatever, where there's sort of the warning, you know, and there's like that build-up of tension leading into what's going to happen. You know, like Independence Day, for instance, like where you see the shadow of the spaceship over the moon at the start, you know, and it's like, oh, here it comes. The opening scene of A Quiet Place 2 freaking nailed that so well. Yeah, as you can probably tell, I loved this movie immensely. I cannot wait to see it again. If you're a fan of the first one, I'm pretty sure you're going to love this one. I haven't seen any reviews or anything yet, so I'm not 100% sure what people are saying about it. But look, even if you're only, you know, if you mildly enjoyed the first one, I think you'd really like this one. So definitely go and check it out. I loved A Quiet Place 2, and I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10. Alright, so over to you guys. Like I said, I haven't seen any reviews. I haven't read what people have said about this movie. For all I know, maybe people are hating it, and I'm sitting here like, yay, this movie's awesome, and everyone's like, no, it's really not. But yeah, I would love to know what you guys thought of it, and which one did you prefer, A Quiet Place 1 or A Quiet Place 2, and why? Because, yeah, like I said, I I absolutely loved the second one more than the first one. And yeah, I'm just kind of curious as to what other people think. But anyway, let me know what you thought of it. Drop me some comments either here, Facebook, or Twitter. All the social media links are in the description below because I like to talk about movies and I would love to talk about movies with you. Catch you next time.
Click subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest movie reviews. Skynet will be taking over any day now, so what have you got to lose? Nyah.